tries to bring children, tear them away from their iPads and phones and this, that, the other, because their mind can then be at focus and peace. I was just going to say, ladies, would you be kind enough to come this side? I don't bite, and it'll be easier on me. Sorry, it's purely selfish view of my own, because I'm thinking I'll just be focusing here. Yes? Is that okay? And where are you ladies from? You can stay here. It's not a problem. You can come here. Don't have to go right at the back. I know what we all trying to do in school and colleges and all these, wherever we go to learn, we want the back seats, right? Guess what I do? All the people in the backside, I tend to ask them a lot of questions. No, it's okay. This is just a relaxed atmosphere of talking about Krishna, learning whatever we can do, and soak in the atmosphere of Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda ji. Yeah? You happy to do that? I would need a few responses now and then. I may pose a question. And I was just saying to everyone before you guys joined that this is going to be our test of our mindfulness. If we can switch off from everything else and just pay attention to what Krishna wants to teach us. I know lots of things are going on in the world. Lots of things are going outside in this country now. Lots of negativity, but we want to do positivity for us all. Yeah? What matters is what we have in our mind and heart. Okay, so let's start off with doing a little bit of our Kirtan, which is going to be about 5 minutes or so. Then we'll talk about that Sanskrit verse, and then I'll explain what that is. And then everything is in English anyway in the thing. So those of you who want to see or follow what we're doing, there is verse from chapter 11, verse 8. My name is Vrinda Vilasini Devi Dasi, and I will attempt to repeat what Srila Prabhupada has written. Yeah? Okay, let's start. And then towards the end, we will have a question, answer. Don't worry too much about Sienna. Let her be. And it's okay. Sienna's going to be good. And listen, Sienna, when I'm talking, unless and until I ask you a question, would you be kind enough to not talk too loudly? Is that okay? Yeah? Good girl. I know you're a good girl. Even if she does, don't stress about it. You're here to hear the message of Krishna. She's also part and parcel of Krishna. Don't worry about it. We were all once upon a time children. We know how it works. Okay, let's start. Anybody know how to do mridanga? Please be my guest. Pick up one and try if you want to. If not, then bear with us. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Your chance, everyone. Please sing. Not pleasing me, you're singing for Krishna, okay? Don't feel, conscious or anything, because Krishna wants our devotion. Does he care if we are Lata Mangeshkars or not? He doesn't. Trust me. He doesn't want Michael Jackson or anybody else like that. He just wants devotion. Okay, let's start again. I do expect you to repeat and sing, because then it's my turn to hear. Through ears, we're going to learn to know Krishna, right? So please don't shortchange me. Just because you've got inhibition or whatever, I still need to listen to you guys, right? When I'm doing my part by singing as well. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Good. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandan Braj Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandan Braj Jana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Banchari. Jamuna Tira Banchari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Come on everyone, my chance to hear. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Gokul Nand, Radha Gokul Nand Radhe. Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman, Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Okay, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, so verse 11 point, Bhagavad Gita as it is 11.8. You guys can follow that. I've got one in the book here, so I'll be looking here mostly. So just to break it down a little bit before we recite. Na tu mam sakshyase drashtum anenneva svachakshusha divyam dadami te chakshu Pashya me yogam Aishwaram. Right? So let's just do that and see if you can follow that. Then we'll revert to English very quickly. But it's nice to hear, these are Krishna's words that he's speaking to Arjun. So it's nice to hear what Krishna's words are. Natu mam sakshaya se drishtum. Natu mam sakshya se drishtum. Ananeva swachakshusha. Ananeva swachakshusha. Divyam dadami te chakshu. Divyam dadami te chakshu. Pashya me yogam ashwaram. Pashya me yogam ashwaram. Okay, so any of these words, does anybody know any of the words? What do you think chakshu means? Anyone know? Very good. So chakshu means eyes, and then he's saying something towards the end, pashya me. Pashya means? Could it be seeing? Pashya, to see, yeah? So where there's eyes, what are the function of eyes? Sienna, you want to tell me what can eyes do? You can see. Did you go and see movies now? Were they saying moo, moo? But you saw it with eyes, yeah? And you heard with the ears. Good. So that's that. So translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki. Come on, everyone. He spent all his life trying to enlighten us. I'll say again. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki. Good. We need to be indebted and show our gratitude to people who have brought us. You're sitting in London, not in India. And what are we doing? We're reading about and talking about Krishna. You are here because you have, your heart is in temple. Srila Prabhupada made these temples for us, right? So let's just be grateful and be thankful that. What are they saying? Okay, now let's see what Krishna's words are. So he's saying, but you cannot see me. So remember, this is the chapter 11. And this is a conversation between who? Arjuna and? Good. And in this, I'll go into little background in a minute. But let's just see what Krishna's words are to Arjuna. And he's saying, but you cannot see me with your eyes. Your present eyes. Therefore, I give you divine eyes. Behold my mystic opulence. So when that word Aishwaryam is, and Yogam is mystic opulence, yeah? So, but he's saying that Swa Chakshusha. Swa means your own. So you cannot see me with your own Chakshu, eyes, but you'd be able to see from, so let's see if we can go down. And here, look, it's telling you all the meanings. So those of you who haven't got Bhagavad Gita as it is, you can see how Krishna, how easy it is. And look, that is our verse in English, okay? So, now we're going to talk about purport. Purport is little long here, but I will read little bit because it's a page and a bit, and we will just read. Yeah. In fact, I can probably you ladies would know how to scroll this down, right? Would you be kind enough to do that for me? And then you'll be all right. Don't worry. So just going to be scrolling it down. You'll see the cursor would come up on the side. And as we read, if you could just bring it down a bit. In the meantime, I'll start off here. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki. A pure devotee does not like to see Krishna in any other form except his form with two hands, A devotee must see his universal form by his grace, not with the mind, but with spiritual eyes. To see the universal form of Krishna, Arjuna is told not to change his mind, but the vision. The universal form of Krishna is not very important. That will be clear in subsequent verses. Yet because Arjuna wanted to see it, the Lord gives him the particular vision required to see that universal form. Devotees who are correctly situated in transcendental relationship with Krishna are attracted by loving features. Yeah? Not by the godless display of opulence. The playmates of Krishna, the friends of Krishna, the parents of Krishna never want Krishna to show his opulences. They are so immersed in the pure love that they do not even know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In their loving exchange, they forget that the Krishna is the Supreme Lord. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that the boys who plays with Krishna are all highly pious souls, and after many, many births, they are able to play with Krishna. Such boys do not know that the Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They take him as a personal friend. And then they go on to explain, Sukadev Goswami saying that in Sanskrit verse, I'll just read the little meaning because it's then quicker for us. Here is the Supreme Person who is considered the impersonal Brahman by great sages, the Supreme Personality of Godhead by devotees, and a product of material nature by ordinary men. Now these boys who have performed many, many pious activities, very good, are playing with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. See the importance, how Krishna is, even the people who are around Krishna are so fortunate and they've done something good to be able to be in that position where they're then able to play with Krishna, feed him food, have his boyhood, childhood pastimes, yeah? And think how lucky you all are. There could be so many things you could be doing. But it's only with Krishna's mercy that you would find time to sit here and listen. Not everybody can do that. So please appreciate that you are at that next stage where you're able to calm your minds down, give yourself away from, oh, that needs doing, this needs doing business, and you are here and you're able to absorb or hear Krishna's words. Not everybody can do it. Think how many people are there in London. Moving on. Thank you. What's your name, young lady? Kia? Tia. Thank you, Tia. Shall we move on to the next part? The fact is that devotee is not concerned with seeing the Vishwarup, the universal form, but Arjuna wanted to see it to substantiate Krishna's statements. For those of you who do not know, substantiate, basically if somebody said something, to understand and make it reality by, or contextualize it by giving an example, or just by proving the point, yeah? So that's what it means. And then it's saying, substantiate Krishna's statement so that even in the future people could understand that Krishna not only theoretically or philosophically presented himself as the Supreme, but actually presented himself as such to Arjuna. Arjuna must confirm that because Arjuna is beginning the parampara system. Those who are actually interested in understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna and who follow in the footsteps of Arjuna should understand that Krishna not only theoretically presented himself as the Supreme but also revealed himself as the Supreme. So like we say, isn't it, put your hands or put your actions where your words are or mouth is. Like, you've heard that saying, I'm sure you have. So I can say I'm God, but do I become God? No, because I can't display like Lord Krishna at the age of 6-year-old. He could pick up Govardhan Hill, not even needing a crane, not even needing a truck, a lorry. What did he do? Just on his fingers. Yes? So any of you fancy doing that? Picking a mountain on your little finger? Yeah? We can do picture of mountain, Govardhan, but can we actually pick up actual mountain? No, we can't. So just what we say, it needs to be substantiated too. So that's the thing to remember. So here, this is what they're saying. Lord gave Arjun the necessary power to his universal form because he knew Arjun did not particularly wanted to see it, as we have already explained. So our prayers now to our gurus, because they've opened our darkened our eyes and given us the knowledge like light. Om Agyantimirandhasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Nama Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So the background to this is, we all know initially Arjun was little reluctant to do the war. He didn't want to engage with people he knew, he respected, he grew with. Then Krishna pointed out that that he needs to give up his illusion and do his duty. Yeah. So then in chapter 11, first verse is showing Arjuna said, by my hearing the instructions you have kindly given me about these most confidential spiritual subjects, my illusion is now dispelled. So then Arjuna says to them, O Lotus Eye One, I have heard from you in detail about the appearance and disappearance of every living entity and have realized your inexhaustible glories. O greatest of all personalities, O supreme form, though I see you here before me, your actual position, and you have described yourself, but I wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of yours. So we've all heard about universal form, right? Vishwaroop. Yes, we all know. And in the third verse, it's just saying, then Krishna is saying, if you think that, no, Arjuna is saying still that if you think, Krishna, that I'm able to behold your that sight, then please let me see that form. Now, people may, and so that's text 4, then text 5, sorry, you won't find that there, Tia. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, O son of Pritha, see how my opulence is hundreds and thousands of very divine and multicolored forms. And then he says, O best of Bharata, here see the different manifestations of Vasu, Rudra, Ashwini Kumaras, demigods. Behold many wonderful things that one have ever seen and heard. So what he's saying is like, we can see Lord's beautiful form here, but again, we are also saying Krishna is everywhere. So when Krishna is in nature, how is it apparent to us? Right? So when we talk about any of these mountains, when we see beautiful flowers, when you see beautiful skies, you see the beautiful colors of sunset, sunrise. Do you ever wonder? You see the moon, you see the arrangement, how our body works. Can someone create any of these things and perfectly create? Like my Guru Maharaj used to always give us an example of a seed. How amazing even the smallest of these things are, like seed. What can seed do? When you look at a tree, you get a fruit. From fruit, we relish, we eat, and then we throw the seed. And from that seed, Krishna's put the great mango tree or apple tree or any of the other fruits that you like. What does Sienna like? Sienna, you like banana trees? What do you like? Do you like bananas? Do you like cherries? Think about it. From that little seed, that's packed in. This is only something that, again, Supreme Personality of Krishna can do. Who else would have been able to make these arrangements? Yes? And think about it. The air we breathe, the air that gets, carbon dioxide, the system where trees are giving oxygen in the daytime, and all of these things. If you think about it for a minute, you just have to marvel how beautifully the whole ecosystem, the whole planet, the whole system is working. So then you have to understand that Krishna is there, of course, but Krishna can also be in the form of nature. Yes? What is difficult for someone? If someone is God, he is the Supreme Personality of not just this country, but also of the world, and not of only the world, but also of the universe and the planets. So what is difficult for him? If he wants to create and be in the form of Himalayas, can he be a Himalaya? Yes? Can he take form of something else that he may think is appropriate at the time? Of course. So this is the thing to remember. Sorry, gentlemen, if you want to come in and sit down and listen, great. If you want to have darshan, that's fine too. Please don't feel that you can't come in because the class is going on. So please feel free to sit down. We're talking about opulence, the universal form, and chapter 11, verse 8, where Krishna is explaining to Arjun that if you're not satisfied by seeing my, we call it Tribhanga form. Can somebody tell me why she beautiful Radha Gokulananda ji, it's called Tribhanga form in two hand formed with flute? Can someone tell me? Yes, because three means three, and Tribhanga, he's bent at three places. So if you watch carefully, quietly, and you'll see that he is like that, yeah? So, Shaman Tribhanga. There is a very beautiful verse, we'll talk about it in a minute. So anyway, so Arjun has requested that he wants to see Shri Radha Gokulananda Bhagwan ji ki, Shri Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman ji ki. Lucky we managed to see that Tribhanga form of Shri Krishna first, right? Don't worry, they're going to be, Krishna's going to be having his bhoga. Then he's going to make that prasad, and then you'll all be able to relish it at 7:30. So Krishna is basically saying to Arjun that I will show you my other form too. It's not because Arjun was in dilemma. It's because through Arjun he's teaching us. Those of us who can't remember or who may doubt him. So he's just telling us, relax, it's okay. Kids are kids, don't worry, you know. Okay, so let's see. So what is, so we all know, there is a verse, so we can't see Krishna with just our eyes. I don't know if you've heard a lecture His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada was explaining. Any of you guys mechanic here? Any of you guys mechanic? No? Okay. So, if something is wrong with the car, if you were to look at the bonnet, can you tell what's wrong with it? No. Mechanic can, by switching on the key, right? So he was explaining that even for something so simple, where somebody who has studied the science of motors and in parts and all these things is able to then use that knowledge to find out what's wrong with car and fix it. How is it that us human are thinking that we want to see God with just these eyes and knowledge? Unless and until, like, you have got some qualification, you cannot. If I say, oh, I'm a doctor, I want to go and operate on someone, would I be allowed to do that? I hope not. Yes? None of you guys would like to be my patient then, would they? No. Exactly so. Even I would hope that somebody would stop someone like that. Why? Because we need qualification. When you have qualification, you understand that. So that is the requirement. So similarly, before we can actually understand Krishna or God, what do we need? Do you think we need some qualification? Very good. Of course we do. It's like anything. Krishna consciousness is a science too. So, in fact, Krishna consciousness is the actual science that makes so much more sense, because you can apply it in your life and you'll be able to reap the rewards by seeing the changes in your own self. And if you don't believe that, try it. And all we're doing is, why am I saying that? Because at the moment we did in Bhakti Vaibhav, the last canto, canto 6. That answered some of my questions. I've heard so many people say, you have to associate with the like-minded people. So if you want to pass some sort of exams, you want to be sitting with the most intelligent child, work out, do revisions and stuff like that. You want to go and source the professor who is renowned for that particular subject to get his, guidance. So similarly, how are we able to try and get into Krishna's good books, and what can we do to start? So here, in this verse, which is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, verse, the chapter 1 and 15. So 6.1.15, and it says, I'll say the Sanskrit, then I'll explain the meaning, yeah? So it says, Kechid kevalya bhaktya vasudeva parayana agam dunvanti kartsnena niharam iva bhaskara. So what it means is, niharam is fog. What happens to fog? How does it dissipate when something happens? A quiz for you guys. How can we get rid of fog quickly? What makes fog dissipate itself? Brilliant. So Bhaskara means sunshine. So here the meaning is, only a rare person who has adopted complete unalloyed devotional service, that means Parayana. Vasudeva Parayana means someone who's absorbed in learning about Vasudeva. When we fall in love, what do? We want to please people. When we have children, when we have grandchildren, we want to please them on their birthdays by buying gifts and so on. Similarly, somebody who wants to please Krishna, another name Vasudev. So somebody who is Vasudeva Parayana, someone who can be engaged in his activities. So this is our cue, action. Action point for us to memorize what do we need to do to become close to Krishna. This is our action. Because Krishna is saying only a rare person who has adopted complete unalloyed devotional service to Krishna can uproot the weeds of sinful actions with no possibility of that they will revive. He can do this simply by discharging devotional service. Just as sun, Bhaskara, remember? Niharam, Bhaskara. Just as sun can immediately dissipate fog by its rays. As soon as sunshine comes, fog goes. Similarly, as soon as we're going to start our devotional service, we can uproot the sinful propensities that we've had from years and years and years, and who knows how many births and births and births. Even in this life, for years we've been just doing things that mindlessly. So I'm still hoping you guys are all listening and we are all here in our mind. And then when he's saying devotional service, Sienna, I need you to be quiet, please. Only for another 10 minutes or so, then we're going to be doing. Okay, good girl. So how can one start the devotional service? So hear this. This is another verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 6.3.22. And it says, Etavan iva lokesmin pumsa dharma parasmritir bhakti yogo bhagavati tannama grahanadhibi. So devotional service, beginning with the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, is the ultimate religious principle for living entity in this human society. So earlier on we heard that devotional service is something that we need to do, but then how do we do devotional service? Then they're explaining this. Devotional service starts with chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Thank you, Tia, for all your help today, okay? Hare Krishna. So, we are not making this up. It's there in our Shastra, okay? One other verse which is so important. So, what can we do to develop our devotional service? It's to do with faith. Yeah? Faith is required for anything you're doing. So if you've researched that you want a teacher who excels at something, the chapter that you want to take perhaps in your A-levels or in your college, you will need to have faith in the reviews, because some people have tried and they have written their reviews. That's what we do, yeah? If you guys go on holiday, do you check out the hotel? Do you check out the reviews and say, oh, this is what it says on the review? So, not that Krishna needs our reviews to prove a point, but basically there's people who have applied this science to their lives and then have managed to turn around their life. It's very important, isn't it? Because we all know this form, this human form is a very, very difficult to achieve. So we go through so many different lives to achieve this. So are we going to be doing something for ourselves, our dharma, to make sure that we can then use this life to get us out and be surrendered to where we don't have to suffer from all these things which are going on? We all know what happens. We've all heard adhyatmik, adi bhautik, all these things which are going on at the moment. Adhyatmik is something which is internal or divine, like, floods and all those things. Adi bhautik is something which is from outside. And remind me the third one. Where you just give yourself self. Mataji, you remember? There's 3, right? Anyway, so basically in English, what it means is that there is certain things which are out of our control. Like if floods come, tsunami comes, COVID came, nothing we could do. There are certain things which are self-inflicted, and there's certain things which are inflicted by others. Like if a mosquito bites you, do you feel the pain? Do you have malaria? Do you suffer? So there's suffering in this world. There's 3 kinds of sufferings, and one is self-inflicted. By just thinking in your mind, oh yeah, she did that, he did that, she said this to me, that person did that to me. Using your precious time that you have in this life to actually then be thinking about others that have done bad. Why do you think your heart and your mind and your soul is a dustbin? You want to only have the nasty thoughts, only the things which people have done bad, right? No, we don't. We want to put all the good things in our heart. Why? Because we all want to have godly qualities. God doesn't teach us, like what's going on in today's world, to hate everyone. It doesn't. It tells you to love. It tells you to see Krishna in others, right? We all have soul. We all have Paramatma in our hearts. So how is it, does it really matter who's what religion? All religions tell you to love. And so there is no room for any hate in this world. And if people are doing that because somebody is being bad to you and this, that, the other, then you are giving troubles which are self-inflicted. You get it? So 3 types of suffering. So anything which is not so nice or not gone on, just get rid of it. Hold that thought, chuck it out, make your life easy. Somebody who has deceived you, okay, once he's done it, don't give them satisfaction of more of your time that you're thinking, oh, this person did that, she person, use your time for something else, something positive. Yeah, you can chant Hare Krishna mantra, 16 words. That would always, then from short-term memory, the Hare Krishna mantra will transfer into your long-term memory. And we just heard, devotional service starts by chanting of the holy name of the Lord. And what did Srila Prabhupada teach us? He's taught us to do 16 rounds. 16th round of 108 beads of that Mahamantra that we do. And why did he do that? It's scientifically proven that when you repeat something in your short memory, how many of you, when you first came, did not know the way to Manor? You? Did you drive from somewhere? You used to drive from locally or? All the way from Crawley. Of course you're going to forget. So difficult, isn't it? But what happens when you actually come often? Do you know it just back of your mind? So your short-term memory, somehow or the other, transfers into your long-term memory. So what are we trying to do? What is Srila Prabhupada trying to do by telling us, please chant the holy name of the Lord? Whenever you are distressed, whenever you are miserable, whenever you are suffering, suffering's going to be around. Irrespective of, even if it's a peaceful country, sad country, great country, whatever else, this world is called Dukhalayam Ashashvatam. That means place of miseries, place of suffering. The body itself is the tool. I fell down the other day and I hurt my thumb, and it's just most littlest thing, but it still hurts every time I touch something. So imagine, Krishna has given us this body to remind us that we don't want to be wasting our life every time by going from one body to the other, from one species in life to the other, only to then take birth, get suffering, old age, die. We want to use this life to use our short-term memory, convert it into long-term memory to help ourselves carry on doing everything else you're doing in your life. Go get your goals. Achieve what you want to achieve in your career. But at the same time, live your life how you're living. Just change one thing. Add Krishna's name into it. Add just chanting into it. Don't artificially try and give up anything. All you are expected to do, Srila Prabhupada's given us foolproof faith. He's just saying, this verse I read. And it says there, Etavaniva lokesmin, like the last line, Bhakti Yogo Bhagavati Tannam Grahana Adibi. Devotional service, beginning with chanting of the holy name of the Lord, is the ultimate religious principle for living entity in this human society. So, what can we do to help ourselves? From our memory, are we going to try and erase most of the poison, negativity, suffering that has been suffered by us, maybe because of divine interventions like floods, trauma, anything else? Something that's bitten us or anything like that, that suffering, get rid. It could be your friends who've been deceitful to you, whatever else, or your relation, whatever else, yes? And we certainly don't want to give ourselves grief by thinking over and over, because then your enemies have won. Yes? So we want to be positive in our heart, positive in our mind. We've got Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is not a king. He is not a president or anything like that. He's actually Supreme Personality of everything. Yeah? So just remember, you're going to be associating with him. Who gets that kind of, So we've already discussed Krishna's given Arjun the divine eyes to see his opulent form, Virat Rup. But it was only through grace of Krishna. So devotional service will also be given to us with grace of either Guru or association. Yes? So Guru works like glasses. Can you take your glasses off for a minute? Can you see me, or is it blurry? Huh? No. Put your glasses back on. See me clearly? This is what Guru does. Guru, teacher. You can also think how a magnifying glass works. When something is really difficult to understand or see, you put magnifying glass and all of a sudden it becomes clear. Why? Because Guru has spent years and years and years in researching these topics. We spoke about subject matter experts, right? SMEs. So they are subject matter experts in Shastra. So we obviously need association. Then if we haven't got Guru in our life, what have we got? What is that? No, it isn't. What else is it as well? This is not just a Bhagavad Gita. What is it called? Observation. Bhagavad Gita? Yes. What does it say? As it is. Why is that? Because Srila Prabhupada hasn't added or taken off anything. He's just put Krishna's and Arjuna's words as it is. So, if we don't have gurus in our life, we can use these books. It's explained things. Anything you find difficult to understand, all these people roaming around in saffron robes, grab them, say, do you mind explain this to me a bit better, right? Or any of your other people that you know, yeah? So, and then C is for chanting. So ABC we say, isn't it? So in Krishna consciousness, Srila Prabhupada has given us a foolproof way of uplifting ourselves from our present condition to a state where, because of devotional service, we would switch off from the material attachments. Otherwise, it's very difficult. But you'll see, when you are hungry, do you eat? When you eat, you relish the food, but what happens? The hunger goes away as well. Remember that analogy that they've got in the book? So similarly, when you do devotional service, as you're going to be chanting, you will see that you won't be affected too much with all these things which are going on, because you would be able to understand it much better. You would be able to deal with the reactions much better. You've all heard about, they say an orange would only give orange juice, right? So when its orange juice is squished or orange is squished, it'll still give orange juice, but it wouldn't give poison. Do you see? What it means is basically, if you're a nice person inside, if you got nice things inside, irrespective of what suffering you're going to be put through, you would need to link it up to think, okay, well, I am living in a mine of salt. If you are living in a mine of salt, what are you going to be able to taste if you fell down or salt? Dukhalyam ashashvatam, suffering. One way or the other, suffering is going to come. All we need to do is tolerate. What is that verse? 2.14, anyone? In Bhagavad Gita? Matra sparshastu konteya sitoshana sukha dukkhada agampaina nitya kim titiksava bharata. So all we can do is tolerate it. Yes? Tolerate it in your mind, tolerate it in your heart, and then move on. Don't let people and all your experiences, especially negative ones, change your positive outlook to negative. Right? Are we all going to be able to do that? 5 minutes to Arati? Yes? Any quick questions? So just to, any questions, or shall I just summarize what we've learned today? Yeah, summarize? Any questions? No? Okay. So the background information we've given, we've said Krishna gives us divine eyes to Arjun. With grace of Krishna, Arjun is able to see his opulent form. Devotees for Krishna, they like Krishna in the Tribhanga form, which is the one we talked about. And we don't need to change our vision. We need to change our vision to see. We don't need to change our mind. We already know what is right. Yeah? And devotees are never fearful and they love the features of Krishna. And we just need to make sure that we always pray for grace of Krishna. And in there is a verse that we can remember his beautiful form of Krishna, which is Alola Chandra Kala Sadvan Valyavamsi Ratnagaram Pranaya Keli Kala Vilasham Shamam Tribhanga Lalitam Niyata Prakasha Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So this means, we just saw the form of Krishna. Memorize that, remember that, let that beautiful form of Krishna be with you, because it says, I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, around whose neck is a swinging garland of flowers, beautified with a moon locket, whose 2 hands are adorned with flute and jeweled ornaments, who always revels in the pastime of love, whose graceful, 3-fold bending form of Shyam Sundar is the eternally manifest. So that's all we want. We want that beautiful Tribhanga Shamam Lalita Niyata Prakasha form in our hearts. Let's not worry too much what's going on. Things would calm down. Things would get better. If they do, great. If they don't, at least you don't shatter your peace. You don't be scared. You've got Krishna in your heart, Krishna in your mind, And in the end, we finish off with the prayers for all those people who have had loss of their children, all those people who are going through difficult time and are suffering. We pray all for them. And most of all, please pledge today that you're going to start helping yourselves by staying positive, not getting too much affected by negativity. As soon as it comes in your heart, brain, physically take it out, chuck it out. Yes? And are we going to do that by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra? How many rounds? At least 2 I expect you to do today for those people who haven't. And carry on with doing that. Krishna can do his magic. Thank you all for attending. Now is going to be time for Krishna. His Holiness, His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki, Bhagavad Gita as it is ki, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj ki, and all of you ki. Thank you, you're in a good place. Keep safe, take care. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Arati will start in a minute or so please come forward. Hare Krishna.
You can do that.
Shri Shri Radha Gokul Nand ki, Shri Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman ki, Shri Gauranitai ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Ki Pachayo Chayo Gaura Chatre, Arati Kasho. Jai Gaur